What if the very first thing you do every morning is quietly squeezing the life out of your brain's smallest blood vessels, until one morning they just give up? That's not a horror movie. That's the reality of silent strokes, and the title of this video is not clickbait. It's a medical fact. A handful of morning habits can triple your stroke risk after age 60. But here's the good news. You can fix almost all of it with 5 simple steps. I'll give you those steps first, then explain why they work. Because you don't have time to sit through 20 minutes of doom before you get the solution. So here's what you need to do tomorrow morning in order. Step 1. Before you even sit up, while you're still lying flat, do 10 ankle pumps. Point your toes away, then pull them toward you. Step 2. Sit up slowly. Stay on the edge of the bed for only 60 seconds. And while sitting, roll your shoulders 10 times and turn your head slowly side to side. Step 3. Stand up slowly, like you're moving through honey, then drink 8 ounces of room temperature water before anything else. Step 4. Wait 15 minutes before any coffee or tea. Use those minutes to take 10 deep breaths, 4 seconds in, hold 4, out 4, and do not look at your phone or turn on the TV. Step 5. Eat a small protein snack within 30 minutes of waking. A boiled egg, a small yogurt, a handful of nuts, or a tablespoon of peanut butter on a rice cake. That's it. 5 steps. 10 minutes. No cost. Now let me show you why these steps are so powerful, and what happens if you ignore them. The single most dangerous moment of your entire day is the first 60 seconds after you wake up. Not because of what's outside your bedroom, but because of what's happening inside your body. After 6 to 8 hours of sleep, you're mildly dehydrated. You lose about 1 to 2 pounds of water just from breathing and sweating overnight. That makes your blood thicker, stickier, harder to pump. At the same time, your body releases a natural surge of cortisol and adrenaline to wake you up, the dawn phenomenon. That surge raises your blood pressure. In a younger body, flexible arteries handle this easily. But after 60, your arteries are stiffer. Your reflexes that control blood pressure are slower. So you wake up with thick blood, rising pressure, and a nervous system that's not as quick to adapt. Now add the first dangerous habit, standing up too fast. When you throw your legs over the side of the bed and stand immediately, gravity pulls a large amount of blood, about 1.5 pints, down into your legs. Your brain is suddenly starved of oxygen for those first few seconds. You might feel dizzy or see stars. Or you might feel nothing at all, but your brain still takes a hit. Those tiny, deep arteries in the white matter of your brain are the most vulnerable. They spasm, they leak, they form microscopic scars. That's a silent stroke. You don't feel it, but over months and years those scars add up. They steal your memory, your balance, your mood. So step 1. Ankle pumps in bed before you sit up. Immediately starts pushing blood out of your calves and prevents that dangerous pooling. Step 2. Sitting up slowly and moving your shoulders and neck gives your blood pressure time to stabilize before you stand. These are not optional niceties. They are protection. The second dangerous morning habit is sitting on the edge of your bed for too long without moving. Maybe you sit there for 10 or 20 minutes, checking your phone or just waking up slowly. It feels gentle. But here's what's actually happening. When you sit upright without moving your legs, your calf muscles, which doctors call your second heart, because they pump blood back upward, remain completely relaxed. So blood continues to pool in your legs. Within 10 to 15 minutes of stillness, that stagnant blood can start forming microscopic clots. Most of those clots dissolve on their own. But here's the problem that no one talks about. About 1 in 4 adults has a small hole in the wall between the right and left sides of their heart, called a PFO. Most people never know they have it. And that hole can allow a tiny clot from your leg to cross over into the left side of your heart, where it can then shoot straight up into the arteries of your brain. In seconds, that tiny clot becomes a full-blown stroke. Not silent this time. Life-altering. The trigger? Sitting still on the edge of your bed, motionless, for too long. That's why Step 2 limits your sitting time to just 60 seconds, and Step 1, ankle pumps, keeps blood moving even before you sit up. You don't need to jump out of bed like a firefighter. You just need to avoid prolonged stillness. Now let's talk about the bathroom, because this is where the next hidden danger lives. You wake up, you stand up, hopefully slowly now, you walk to the bathroom, and then you strain. Straining to urinate, especially after holding your bladder all night, triggers what doctors call the Valsalva maneuver. That's just a fancy term for that grunt you make when you bear down. What happens inside your body during that grunt is dramatic. The pressure inside your chest spikes, your heart rate changes erratically, and the pressure inside your skull jumps up suddenly. For a flexible, young cardiovascular system, this is no big deal. But for someone over 60 with stiff blood vessels and possibly a small amount of plaque in their neck arteries, that sudden pressure spike can be the exact force needed to crack open a vulnerable spot or rupture a tiny brain aneurysm you didn't even know you had. And here's the terrifying part. You might not feel any pain. You might just feel a brief, strange sensation, a flash of light in your vision, a wave of nausea that passes, a moment of confusion you chalk up to morning fog. Then you finish up, wash your hands, and go about your day. But inside your brain, blood is slowly seeping into the surrounding tissue. By dinner time, you've had a small bleeding stroke, a silent one, and you never even knew it was happening. That's why step 3, drinking room temperature water first thing, is so critical. Hydration thins your blood and reduces the need to strain. And step 4, the deep breathing before any caffeine, calms your nervous system, lowers your resting pressure, and makes that morning bathroom visit less of a cardiovascular event. Slow down. Do not rush. Your brain is begging you to take those extra 10 seconds. The fourth dangerous habit is the one that breaks people's hearts, because it involves coffee. You've heard that coffee is healthy. And for most people under 60 it is. It's linked to lower rates of Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. But after 60, with morning dehydration and naturally stiffer arteries, that first cup of coffee on an empty stomach, especially before you've had any water, adds unnecessary risk. Here's why, without the scare tactics. Caffeine is a mild diuretic. It makes you lose a little more water through urine. You already wake up dehydrated. So drinking coffee first thing makes your blood even thicker than it already is. At the same time, caffeine constricts your blood vessels slightly while also increasing your heart rate. So your heart is pushing thicker blood through slightly narrower pipes. That's extra work. Add to that the fact that you haven't eaten yet, so your blood sugar is low, which triggers a small stress response, and you've created a situation that's not ideal for someone with aging blood vessels. Does this mean you have to give up coffee? Absolutely not. You just need to change the order. Drink water first. Wait 15 minutes. Eat something small. Then have your coffee. That simple rearrangement, water before coffee, food before caffeine, cuts your morning stroke risk significantly. That's why step 3, water, and step 5, protein, come before coffee. You can still enjoy your cup. Just don't make it the first thing that touches your lips. Now let me quickly mention a few other morning habits that increase risk, but I won't belabor them because you already get the picture. Rushing to the bathroom, walking fast right after standing, can cause your blood pressure to zigzag wildly, confusing your brain's ability to keep steady flow. Checking your phone or turning on the news first thing floods your system with stress hormones on top of your natural morning cortisol surge, which raises pressure and makes your blood stickier. Skipping breakfast entirely, especially if you take morning medications for blood pressure or diabetes, can cause your blood sugar to drop too low, triggering a stress response that constricts blood vessels. And ignoring your morning blood pressure reading means you might have dangerous spikes between 6 and 10 a.m. without ever knowing it. All of these are real risks. But the good news is that the 5-step morning routine I gave you at the beginning addresses almost all of them. Water rehydrates. Slow movement stabilizes pressure. Deep breathing lowers stress hormones. Protein prevents blood sugar crashes. And the 15-minute wait before caffeine gives your body time to wake up naturally. Let me tell you a story, not to scare you, but to show you how this plays out in real life. A 72-year-old man I'll call Frank had been feeling off for about a year. He told his wife he was just getting older. But the signs were there. He dropped his toothbrush more often, he sometimes couldn't find the right word in the middle of a sentence, and he had 2 episodes where his vision went blurry for about 30 seconds after his morning bathroom trip. His wife finally made him see a doctor. A brain scan showed something shocking. Frank had had more than a dozen silent strokes. Tiny scars scattered through the white matter of his brain. The cause? Every morning for years, he would wake up, throw his legs over the side of the bed, stand up fast, rush to the bathroom while holding his breath, then drink a large mug of black coffee on an empty stomach while scrolling through the news on his phone. He didn't exercise. He didn't drink water. He didn't eat breakfast. Every single morning, he was stacking risk factor on top of risk factor. When his doctor explained the 5-step routine, Frank thought it was silly, too simple to matter. But he tried it. 1 week later, the morning fog was gone. 2 weeks later, his wife said he seemed sharper. 3 months later, a follow-up scan showed no new silent strokes. Frank still drinks his coffee. He just drinks water first, waits 15 minutes, and eats a hard-boiled egg. That's it. That's the difference between accumulating brain damage and protecting his mind. You might be thinking, I've done the same morning routine for 40 years. I'm not going to remember 5 steps. I get it. So here's a trick that Frank used. He put a sticky note on his bedroom wall, right where he'd see it the second he opened his eyes. On the note, he wrote, water first. Ankles move. Slow stand. No phone. Eat something. That's 5 words. Or put a water bottle on your nightstand every night. When you wake up, it's right there. Drink it before you even think about coffee. Small changes, repeated daily, become automatic. And automatic habits become your new normal. The people who avoid silent strokes aren't superheroes. They're not wealthier or genetically gifted. They just decided that their brain was worth protecting. And they started with one morning. Let me be clear about what a silent stroke actually feels like, because most people have the wrong idea. They think a stroke is always dramatic, falling down, unable to speak, face drooping. Those are major strokes, and yes, they're devastating. But silent strokes are different. You might wake up and feel that your left hand is just a tiny bit clumsier than usual. You drop your toothbrush. You think, I'm just tired. You might find yourself searching for a word, not completely forgetting it, just having to pause for an extra second. You might walk to the bathroom and notice you're veering slightly to the left, but you correct yourself and forget about it. You might have a sudden wave of irritability that passes. You might feel a strange sense of detachment, like you're watching yourself from outside your body. These are all possible signs of a silent stroke, a small area of brain tissue that has died because a tiny vessel got blocked or burst. And because the brain has some redundancy, you can lose small areas without losing major functions. But lose enough of those areas, and the redundancy runs out. That's when you start to notice real problems. You can't manage your finances anymore. You get lost driving to the grocery store. You forget appointments. Your personality changes, and your family tells you you're not yourself. By then, the damage is extensive and largely irreversible. That's why you need to act now, not when you're scared, but while you're still healthy enough to change. I want you to imagine something for a moment. Imagine waking up tomorrow, not with the usual groggy dread, but with a sense of purpose. You do your ankle pumps while you're still warm under the covers. You sit up slowly, shoulders rolling, breath steady. You drink that water and feel it moving through you, rehydrating every cell. You skip the phone and just sit quietly for 10 minutes, listening to the world wake up. Then you have your coffee, but now it's a reward, not an ambush. You eat your egg or your yogurt. And then you stand up, fully hydrated, fully fueled, and you realize you feel better. Clearer. Steadier. That morning fog that you thought was just age, it's gone. That dizziness that you thought was normal, it's not there. That irritability that made you snap at your spouse, it's softened. What you're feeling isn't a placebo. It's the feeling of your brain finally getting the respect it deserves. And day after day, week after week, that feeling compounds. You're not just avoiding strokes, you're building a better brain. One that remembers names. One that stays balanced on icy sidewalks. One that laughs easily and sleeps deeply. One that lets you live the life you earned, not the life that stroke survivors are forced to endure. That future is available to you. But it starts with a single decision. Tomorrow morning, you will change one thing. Just one. And then another. And then another. Here's what I'd like you to do right now. In the comments below, write the word 1 if you are going to change just one morning habit tomorrow. Just one. Drink water before coffee. Or do ankle pumps before standing. Or wait 15 minutes before looking at your phone. Pick one. Commit to it. Then after a week, add a second. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to start. And if this video gave you even one piece of information that could protect your life or the life of someone you love, share it. Send it to a friend who's had those funny turns. Post it in a family chat. You could be the reason someone wakes up tomorrow and changes their routine. You could be the reason they avoid a silent stroke. That's not an exaggeration, that's the power of sharing what you now know. So here's your final takeaway. The title of this video said a morning habit triples your stroke risk. That's true, but only if you keep doing things the old way. The same morning, the same 5 simple steps, can slash that risk by more than half. You don't need expensive supplements or complicated gadgets. You just need a sticky note, a water bottle, and the willingness to treat your first 10 minutes of the day as sacred. Your brain has been sending you signs. The morning fog. The dizziness. The fleeting confusion. Those are not just age. They are warnings. And tomorrow morning you have a choice: ignore them again, or save your own life. Choose wisely. Your life depends on it.